China and North Korea share a long and intricate history, bound together by the Korean War and a shared communist ideology. This alliance, forged in blood and fire, has long been a cornerstone of stability in Northeast Asia. China, with its economic might and political clout, has acted as North Korea's protector and primary benefactor for decades. This relationship, however, has become increasingly strained in recent years, with Kim Jong-un's unpredictable actions and China's growing discomfort with his nuclear ambitions. The two countries are geographically linked, sharing a border that stretches for 880 miles. This proximity has fostered economic ties, with China serving as North Korea's largest trading partner. Ideologically, both nations have adhered to communist principles, though their interpretations have diverged over time. This shared history, however, is now being tested as Kim Jong-un's recent missile tests and military parades have further strained relations with Beijing, which seeks stability in the region. Kim Jong-un, since assuming power in 2011, has proven to be an enigmatic and unpredictable leader. He has pursued an aggressive nuclear weapons program, conducting numerous missile tests that have rattled nerves in the region and beyond. These actions, while intended to bolster North Korea's security and prestige, have also served to isolate the country internationally. Kim's domestic policies have focused on consolidating his power and promoting a personality cult around his leadership. He has shown little tolerance for dissent, ruthlessly purging potential rivals and strengthening the control of the Workers' Party of Korea over all aspects of life. This internal repression, coupled with his foreign policy gambits, has made him a wild card on the world stage, unpredictable and potentially dangerous. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the region, North Korea has deepened its ties with Russia, another historical ally. This burgeoning partnership, driven by shared geopolitical interests and a mutual distrust of the West, has raised concerns about a realignment of power in Northeast Asia. Russia, facing increasing isolation due to its actions in Ukraine, sees North Korea as a valuable partner in its efforts to challenge the existing world order. For North Korea, Russia offers an alternative source of support, lessening its reliance on China and providing leverage in its dealings with Beijing. This strategic shift, however, has the potential to further destabilize the region and complicate China's efforts to manage its relationship with its volatile neighbor. The conflict in Ukraine has provided North Korea with an opportunity to not only strengthen its ties with Russia, but also to potentially profit from the sale of arms and ammunition. Reports have emerged of North Korean artillery shells and rockets being supplied to Russian forces, a development that has alarmed Western powers. While North Korea has denied these reports, the potential for such transfers raises concerns about the proliferation of weapons and the direct involvement of a rogue state in a major conflict. For China, North Korea's support for Russia in Ukraine presents a significant dilemma. Beijing has attempted to maintain a neutral stance on the war, but Pyongyang's actions make it increasingly difficult for China to walk this diplomatic tightrope. Section 5. The Dragon's Dilemma, China's Balancing Act. China finds itself in an increasingly precarious position as it seeks to balance its historical ties with North Korea against its growing discomfort with Kim Jong-un's behavior and its desire to maintain stable relations with the West. Beijing has long sought to prevent the collapse of the North Korean regime, fearing an influx of refugees and the potential for a US-aligned unified Korea on its border. However, Kim's nuclear ambitions and his recent pivot towards Russia threaten to undermine China's regional interests and damage its global standing. China has condemned North Korea's missile tests and supported UN sanctions, but these actions have done little to curb Pyongyang's behavior. The situation in Ukraine further complicates matters, forcing China to navigate a complex web of competing priorities and allegiances. Section 6. A Chorus of Condemnation, the International Response. The international community has roundly condemned North Korea's deepening ties with Russia and its alleged arms supplies to Moscow. Western powers, led by the United States, have imposed sanctions and increased military deployments to the region in response to Pyongyang's actions. The UN Security Council has held numerous emergency meetings to discuss the situation, but these have yielded little progress due to the veto power held by Russia and China. The lack of a unified international response has emboldened North Korea, allowing it to continue its provocative behavior with relative impunity. Section 7. The US Factor, navigating a new Cold War. The escalating tensions between the West and the Russia-China-North Korea axis have raised concerns about a new Cold War. The United States, viewing both Russia and China as strategic competitors, has taken a hard line against North Korea, seeking to contain its nuclear ambitions and limit its influence in the region. Washington has strengthened its military presence in South Korea and Japan, conducted joint military exercises, and imposed sanctions on North Korea. The Biden administration has also sought to rally international support for isolating North Korea, but these efforts have been met with resistance from China and Russia, who accuse the U.S. of provoking tensions and seeking to maintain its hegemony in the region. Section 8. A future adrift, uncertainty clouds China-North Korea relations. The future of China-North Korea relations remains uncertain. The historical bonds that have united the two countries are being tested by Kim Jong-un's unpredictable behavior and China's evolving strategic calculations. Beijing faces a difficult choice: continue to support a troublesome ally or risk the consequences of a North Korean collapse. China's decision will have profound implications for the Korean Peninsula, Northeast Asia, and the wider world. A further deterioration in relations could lead to greater instability on the Korean Peninsula, a regional arms race, and an increased risk of conflict. Section 9. Ramifications, global security at a crossroads. North Korea's actions, coupled with its deepening ties with Russia, pose a significant challenge to global security. The proliferation of nuclear weapons, the potential for miscalculation, and the erosion of the international rules-based order are all causes for serious concern. The international community must work together to address these challenges, but this will require a concerted effort to bridge divides, address underlying grievances, and find common ground. Failure to do so could have devastating consequences for peace and security in the 21st century. Section 10. A call for diplomacy, averting crisis in a multipolar world. In an increasingly multipolar world characterized by shifting alliances and a diffusion of power, diplomacy and dialogue are more important than ever. The situation on the Korean Peninsula highlights the need for all parties to engage in good faith efforts to reduce tensions, build trust, and find peaceful solutions to complex challenges. The international community must prioritize diplomacy over confrontation, seeking to address the root causes of conflict and create a more stable and secure world for all. The stakes are too high to allow mistrust, miscalculation, or short-term interest to derail the pursuit of peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula and beyond.